And in the upper left, in the blue, excuse me, the Zerg player on a murderer's row, knocking down a Marty, knocking down Special. He is Solar. And like a hero out of legend, looking to slay the sun itself for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Hero. Yeah, that was... It was like 100-to-1 odds. It was like 97% of all points were bet towards Special. So that was a thing. We got a interesting pylon here coming from Hero in this game number 1. I think this is a cannon rush, but this is a weird cannon rush here. The drones are gonna get pulled. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I know what this is. Never mind. This is just a super anachronistic cannon rush. Where this is Gate Cyber Cannon, Gate Cyber Fort. So this is going to be for a proxy robo, but Solar's doing a great job of really kind of preventing this from going down for a time. But drones are going to have to get pulled here regardless. So we're going to see Hero looking like he's got to try to find a spot where the drones can't go, and actually that's going to be a really good spot for that last cannon. So actually, where are we at? That is cannon, pylon, shield. So there's the shield battery. This cannon will not complete. The pro will go down, and that should be it. Lings are out. That did not. That didn't work there for Hero. I appreciate the attempt, but no. This is what happens when things... So I think the plan here from this positioning that Hero was going for is you're like, well, you know, maybe my opponent doesn't scout right in front of his base, because surprisingly enough, that is a pretty valid idea. You don't scout in front of the base often because no one puts anything there, because it would be dumb to put anything there because it would be very scoutable. So you don't scout. And often, you know, your stuff is already out of the map, but Solar was able to scout it in time. The cannon rush did not work. No robo was made. And now this Adept will die as well in the mineral. Oh, actually, there's an Adept in the natural, though. So Adept in the main base starting to find value as well here. 3 kills on that one. Adept in the natural getting a little bit more, maybe only 1 kill, but still 2 drones have died, and that is something. And behind this Hero, it's a Stargate play. Now, I don't know how much Hero's going to be able to get done here. Like, real good resources lost. It's a lot. No spoilers there. This is not going to be double Stargate play. Hero or Solar's just going to be able to queen walk him to death. But it will be a Void Ray first. I kind of expected to see an Oracle. I just try to kind of maintain some map pressure. But this could be kind of the double Void Ray into Charge Lot idea that we have seen Protoss players go for. Well, we really saw them do it when the Void Ray patch happened, but we see it occasionally. Who did I see do it most recently? Nice, maybe? No, Astrea. Astrea did that. With these Adepts, they will find their way into the natural just a little bit. Nice ring around the rose there from the drone. We'll keep it alive, but yeah, okay. Void Ray into Oracle. That makes some sense, as these Adepts will... they're going to get chased down. They're going to go down. And they're not adept at escaping. Not today. So, Adepts are dead. Map control for Hero done for the moment. Third base going to pop down at 446, which of course is late, but in the context of this game where it was a cannon rush, that kind of is a Stargate timing. And Solar, of course, for his part. He's droning. More queens, more drones, all that fun stuff. Really not developing into any sort of tech just yet. Roach Warren going down, of course, because there are some styles that a Zerg player can go for where, especially against the Stargate play, where they just kind of skip roaches. Because realistically, you know, it's like Stargate units. Roaches doesn't jive. That being said, this Adepts will not get anything done. There are builds, the stats build in particular, where the Protoss player is going to attempt to play into that idea. of, oh, wow, you know, you're building Stargate. Why would I build roaches? And then they put 12 adepts in the base, and it's like, well, great. I guess I'm dead. So you want to get that roach spawn pretty much regardless, just so you don't get that tech swap happening. Is that is a... Oh, okay, that's a weird wall spot. I thought that was a full wall or an open gap. But anyways, plus one air is about halfway done. Well, a third of the way done, and really. Double void rays popping out. So Hero, he's going for the double Stargate play. I didn't think that's what we were gonna see here, but it is. As now the queens are starting to walk, at least 4 of them, and I feel like, I mean, this is double void ray play. You're gonna need more than that. I feel like Solar has not quite scouted what this is, as we are now at, oh, I guess we're at 2 void rays to 7 queens. We're not really at big void ray numbers just yet. Plus 1 air is only about halfway done. It's not going to be done for the first really for the first fight or the second fight, maybe for the third. So now the queens are starting to walk, taking a little bit of damage before the void rays pop out, but even still, this is going to be a tenuous hold to say the least. Cannons popping out. We are going to have some shield batteries down in time, but with these Ravagers here, I mean, you can just drop piles on the pylon and say it doesn't really matter. So the shield batteries are going to start to go down here. Roaches, Ravagers, Queens are firing at everything. Shield battery overcharge has been popped, but just dropped Biles on the pylon. There we go. Shield battery overcharge does not matter anymore. The void rays are starting to go down. They're starting to get very low indeed. The Ravagers have not died. The Queens have not died. The cannons are down. The third base is absolutely forfeit here. So now it's going to be game of Hero saying, well, maybe I can survive on 2 bases. You have committed a lot to this. This is a queen walk after all. Maybe with my +1 voids, you know, I'll be able to make something happen. Maybe I'll be able to catch your queens across the map. And, you know, actually, the void rays are going to be able to beat the queens across the back home, which does mean that their third base is going to have some problems. We're going to see some spores get made, but not made quick enough. Looks like a spore's rallying over from the main base here. There are 2 queens to defend, but they're going to die toot sweet. Actually, 3 queens, but it doesn't matter. They're going to die toot sweet. But the rest of the queens are starting to arrive now, but they're getting knocked off piecemeal, and this is something that can happen. I mean, there is a critical mass of void rays that exists that just make it so these queens are not going to be all that useful anymore. Now only down to 7 queens, but the base survives, and that's the big deal. The queens can be remade. You lose a lot more by losing the base. A couple void rays have died, and at this point, well, I mean, the queens are starting to die, but still, it's a 2 base Protoss against a 3 base Zerg. Hero is not even attempted to remake. Okay, so he's gonna, you know, he's gonna prismatically align some gas. Gas is important, of course. The Zerg player wants gas, but this is not the big damage that Hero was looking for. So now the queens are going to kind of block him in. We're probably going to see these void rays recall. Something like that doesn't matter. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but we're going to see the void rays recall as the Lings and the Ravagers, they're going to run across the map, just preventing a third base from ever being completed. Now, there are a lot of void rays on the map, so we will see Solar have to transition his tech in some way, shape, or form. What's he going to go? Normally, Hydra's not that great of a unit, but when you're just against void rays, Hydra's pretty good. So 8 Hydras are hitting the field here. We're going to see more, of course, Hydra range as well, because it's not like this is a timing where you got to run across the map and try to hit immediately. It's just the void ray, or the, excuse me, the Hydras need to be able to hit as many void rays as they can. And there we go. Hydras are Hydra's out now on the map. Only 6 of them, but more and more and more underway. A couple void rays are locked away. They're going to have to be recalled or run around on the side of the map. And Solar's going to hit like a 160 odds. I mean, he can max out if he wants, but it's going to be 160 odds supply timing, where he has all these Hydras. Maybe he waits for a max out. Maybe he waits for 200 and +1 and Hydra range. Well, okay, so he's going to try to get this base. He will not be successful. He's going to try to get the Roach Warren, but it doesn't really matter anymore anyways. I mean, he has enough roaches, and it's not going to go down anyways. Void rays go down. There's a Spore here in the third, and really this should be the trigger for Solar to run across the map at this point. Lots and lots of Hydras. I mean, maybe he's going to try to get the Infestation Pit, but Hive is already underway. All right, so how does Hero come back in this game? He doesn't. GG, Solar takes game 1. So, Solar first part, I mean, we do have Hero blocking a natural, which he didn't do last time, so Solar was able to take his natural on location. But it was also Curious Mind, so doesn't really matter. Your natural, like, your rest, you know, getting your third base on some maps is actually kind of a boon for the Zerg player. Like Hardwire here, if he was going to take his triangular third, which I kind of expected him to, you can get your creep developed in the middle of the map a little bit more. It just keeps the option for a Queen Walk open, if that's what you want to do. But in this game, actually, he's going to take the linear third, which doesn't mean he's not going to Queen Walk. I mean, he is solar after all, but you don't have quite as advantageous of a creep positioning. But on a map like Curious Minds, honestly, your natural versus your third, it's also close to your opponent's side of the map anyways. That you really don't see a benefit from, not having your natural block, or from taking your third base as your natural anyways. Hero for his part in this game, it's going to be more Stargate play. So he's showing us that while he went for Stargate play in a game where he was kind of behind, and off of any cannon rush, you want to go Stargate anyways because it just keeps you safe from kind of the immediate Roach Ravager counterattack. Hero showing us that at least in this series, Stargate play is how he wants to go. Now, that is the meta. For the most part, we do see Protoss players just playing Stargate more than anything else because that is what they do. The trap showed us that really that is the way to play the game. You don't have to get damage done to survive into the mid game. That being said, we have started to see players like Showtime, players like Trap, start to mess around just a little bit more with this kind of ground pound into Stargate style. Where you get a lot of immortal. It's not predicated on getting damage done early, but you get a lot of immortals and charge a lot of archons, whatever, and then you do that 10-minute transition into Stargate tech. And I don't know if it's better than the immediate Stargate play. It's a little bit safer, of course, against kind of these Queen Walks. But on the flip side, it's a little bit more vulnerable to just Roach Maxes because you're just not going to have the supply. And immortals are good against Roaches, but they can die to Roaches. Forters don't. So it's kind of give or take, ebb and flow. All depends on both players scouting appropriately what's happening and what's not happening. Is again, we're going to have just Solar poking around as Hero attempts to do the same. Neither player finding much value, which in this game is going to favor Solar because honestly, again, I think Solar is probably the better player in this matchup. And, well, he did not buy units that kind of want to get damage done. So, ooh, interesting here. So Hero's actually going to go up to 3 Oracles, which can mean a couple different things. This could mean that he's not going to commit to air anymore, which actually looks like it's going to go here as we do have the Twilights going down. Actually, that's exactly what it means. Zest has a build where he goes 3 Oracle into Carrier, but that's off of about 2 bases. As we will see the stasis go down here, and yeah, there's enough vision, so it's only going to deny mining for a minute as the Queen Star got fire that one down. There we go. No big deal. But here, of course, he has Templar Archives coming down. He's got a Forge as well. So really, this should be for charge first. As the Oracle getting a little bit of damage. You're just getting a couple drones on transition. I mean, it's chip damage, it's poke damage. You kind of expect to get something. Especially with 3 Oracles, you kind of want to get something. But anyway, the Forge is done. Twilight is done. Ooh, interesting. It's going to be Blink, +1 Blink here for Hero in this game. And I mean, this was the meta when he was, getting second place at Katowice. This is something that he is very familiar with, something that he is very, or at least used to be, very good with, as we are getting a little bit of lag, it appears. This just happens sometimes, unfortunately, folks. We are from the Korea server, or we are connecting from the east coast of US to Korea, and as long as the players are not complaining, which they don't appear to, we're just going to suffer this one out. Oh, players are dealing with it. It's not me, I don't think. It's Dave. Okay. Not me. As we will see it. Yeah, okay. So interesting. We will see the stasis trap get like half this mineral line as well. 9 workers. So that's going to be really nice here. Looks like our last lag spike is done. There we go. Okay, we're good. So what do we got here? Where is Hero going? Getting distracted by lag. That's unfortunate. I didn't do it. It's not me. So he's got 4 additional gateways, +1 Blink on the way. Robo coming in as well. This may be for Immortal, but realistically, this should be a Warp Prism. And I think we're going to see Hero here just trying to hit how many gateways does he have? It's going to be 8 gate. Yeah, okay, so I think we're just going to see him hit like an 8 gate Blink timing with +1. And the question now is whether he has done enough damage to the economy of Solar to keep him down. And, you know, honestly, over the last 5 minutes, Hero has been mining just a little bit more. So this may be worthwhile. Now, interestingly, actually, this is not the best position here for Solar, as he's got a Spire coming down. A Spire going against a +1 Blink Stalker Sentry timing is not what you want. Oh, and I love this too. The Oracle's really just kept alive for multiple stasis traps. So these Stalkers are really not going to get surrounded. So what is Solar doing? He's kind of starting to realize that maybe in a little bit of trouble here. So the Zergling counterattack into the natural and the main base. He's going to really force Hero to be super all in this game. The Queens are trying to fight, but not all the Queens can fire here because, of course, some of them are stasis, in stasis. Which of course does mean that there's going to be less transfused energy. The Ligmans are going to try to find their way in, and of course these Queens, they're effectively force fields as well. Force fields that Biles cannot drop down. Meanwhile, Zealots have been warped in the main, so 11 probes have died. Honestly, could have been a whole lot worse, as now the Oracles, they're going to target fire this Queen down. Oracle 1 will go down, but the other 2 Oracles do stay alive. They're knocking these Queens down with tremendous alacrity, but even still, the Stalkers are starting to go down. We don't have enough warp-ins because Hero's running out of money because, of course, he had to spend warp-ins at home, and the Zerglings are just finding so much value. 15 workers have died, and it looks like Solar is going to be able to hold the stasis trap was good. Actually, both set of stasis traps were very good, but it's not going to be enough. Not in this game. And now meters are starting to hit the field. Baneling Nest dropping down, but this timing that Hero was looking to hit before everything happened, it's not going to happen anymore. So the Stalkers are going to be forced backwards. Yeah. Zealots, Stalkers run across the map. They have +1. There is no charge. And, you know, Stalkers can kind of fight Mutas. And that, you know, straight up fight, they're good. But Mutas are just so maneuverable that they're just going to annihilate everything that Hero holds dear here. So Stalkers, one last ditch effort, going to try to find their way on in. And just maybe, Solar's committed too much to these Mutas, not enough to the ground force. But it doesn't really look like that's the case. Now the Mutas running across the map into the main base, into the natural, into the third, wiping out the last vestiges of an economy that Hero has, knocking down all the pylons eventually, just making sure that Hero can't really do much. But it looks like despite that, Hero will be able to break on into this fourth base. Eventually, he's going to be able to knock down this hatchery, Bling on top of the Ravager, saying, you know what? I don't think you have enough here right now. I don't think you have enough here at all. So he's going to be able to move on in. Mutas have been forced backward once again. Where is this army supply from Solar? It's all in production. It's not on the map. And these Stalkers, they're just fighting so gosh darn well. The fourth base is going to go down as Hero runs away. And honestly, this is not all that bad for Hero yet. Now, the lack of cannons in the mineral line is the problem. But Hero has got a base. Actually, it's going to be a full recall here for the Stalkers. He's going to get a decent amount of these Mutas. How many Mutas are in the field now? 7 Mutas on the field. Only 2 have died. I thought he was going to get more. So he only got 9 Mutas. It wasn't a massive commitment. Now Hero's going to be forced to keep Stalkers at home. It means he's not going to have this big, massive Stalkers out on the map that allowed him to get so much pressure because, you know, Stalkers are actually really good against roaches. The bonus damage to armor does become relevant. But of course, now with +1 done for the roaches and ravagers as well. A lot of banelings on the field, and yeah, they're not fast banes. They don't have +1. But what they do have, of course, is an ability to force the Stalkers to micro, to force them to just not sit there and fight the like individually blink Stalkers and take this really efficient trade. Instead, it's, all the banelings are running at me. I just gotta, run away and hope I don't die. But Hero, for the moment, he's trading pretty well. He is starting to equalize the army supply. In fact, the majority of the army supply lead that here Solar has, it's in these Mutas. It's in these Mutas that really, they were effective then. They're not really effective now. So if Hero's going to be able to knock this base down once again, that is going to be very nice. But now banelings filtering on in from the side. Well, actually, links from the side here on the stage craft is going to be really nice. That's a nice joke. That's a fantastic joke point that Hero's going to be able to take advantage of. But where is the Warp Prism? I'm not really sure, actually. But now, Stalkers forced on forward. Mutas, they're going to try to find some damage. But actually, yeah, Stalkers are here. And actually, they're out of sight, too, which is going to be very nice. It does mean that Stalkers are going to be able to blink on top of that, maybe get a little bit more here, so long as Hero's paying attention. There we go. 1 Muta will go down. 2, not 2. But Stalkers are tracking. There's enough Stalkers on the other side. They may just... Actually, yeah, it's the full surround, so they're just going to blink on the high ground. There we go. Yeah, that's what you're looking for, which means this base is probably going to go down. 7 drones certainly are going to die here. Now, Banelings are going to try to get on top of this, but the base goes down. Blink onto the low ground here. Hero, he's playing this like, what was it, on Yansu? No, not on Yansu. King Sejong Station against, who was it? One of the greatest games ever been played. It came down to a single stalker against Mutas. And yeah, that's not exactly what's happening here. He is playing the high ground, low ground game like a true veteran of the scene that he is, like the smiling assassin that he is. But Solar, I worry again that he just has too much bulk. These stasis traps are just doing such a good job of keeping him alive. That being said, though, +1 melee is done. These Banelings, these Lings are so much more powerful, and they're truly what are going to do such a good job against the Stalkers. That being said, we have Disruptors starting to hit the field. 1 is on the field now. 2 and 3 are going to hit the field too, which does mean that if he's able to get some juicy shots here on the Ravagers, on the Lings, on the Banes, it's going to make such a big difference indeed. But now the push is coming in, and you got to remember here, Hero is only on 3 bases. He's actually starting to mine out of his main and his natural. Banelings are going to start to go down here as they look to filter on in. Shield Banner Overcharge has been popped. Disruptor shots are going to go off here. That's a massive shot to start things off. Supplies are actually starting to equalize. The Disruptor will go down, of course, but how impactful it really is that they got their shots. That's really what matters. Banelings filtering on in behind the mineral line. Stalker's starting to go on down, but Stalkers, they're going to blink on forward now. Hero, he's got a 20 army supply lead, and he's turning this game around. Yes, his economy, it's in the dumps. 44 probes. No one questions that one. But realistically, he's mining efficiently on these bases. Solar has lost his 4th base 2 times over. He is only on 59 workers. The supply lead is... Solar actually doesn't have the supply anymore. He's going to have to hit some massive vials. He's not going to be able to do so. And Hero, I did not believe at all, but it looks like he is going to equalize this series right here, right now, with Stalkers, with Disruptors, with his just timeless class and skill, just channeling the ability of old. The assassin returns, and now Solar's got to find some way to stave off the knife. Silent knife in the dark. Actually, not a silent knife. The loud knife in the light. The Stalkers, they look to blink on forward. The army of Solar is still scary. Do not get me wrong. +1 melee is a good thing against these Stalkers. But Hero is doing such a good job of being patient, just sitting here on the edge of where Solar can comfortably take this fight, filtering out the Banes, filtering out the Lings, the Roaches, and the Ravagers, until realistically, there's just not enough there. And then, of course, the stasis traps behind, so just army gets caught. Queens are now going to go down as well. The Disruptors are starting to join the army once again. Now, big deal, of course, is there are only like 8 mineral. There's like 1 solid base, maybe base and a quarter of mining available to Hero in this game, and he will never be able to expand. He just does not have the money for it. It's actually Zerglings are going to find their way into this 3rd base as well. This last, really, no, I was going to say this last mining outpost. That's not even true. He's kind of mining from his natural too. But certainly problematic mining position, as 8 probes will go down. Oracle try to get damage. 4 workers do go down there. So Hero, I mean, he's all in. He has been all in. But I like this. He's not saying, okay, I got to go right now, and I got to win. Although I would have preferred that. I mean, that was a 30-40 supply lead. Disruptor drops are going to find something. Because, of course, the lack of mutas here. I mean, there really is no anti-air. But he says, okay, you know what? This is Ling Bane for the most part. It's really hard for my Stalkers to make what they need to have happen. So I'm going to build a bunch of Archons. Because we, of course, do not have Storm. Oh, Stalkers are going to find a bunch of Banelings here. Gotta be very careful with that one. A lot of Zealots have been made, too, because, honestly, I'm going to say Hero's running out of gas, but he's not. He's got a lot of gas, just really lacking on minerals. This Archon doing such a good job of tanking everything. Where are our Disruptors? They're on the other side of the map here. Solar's just going to target fire the 3rd base down. The Biles drop. Cool, guys. They don't look at explosions. So now it is on the last army here for Solar. Blinking on forward, trying to get on top of this, trying to make sure he can have. And the Disruptor plane coming from behind. Is he going to get what he needs? The army of Solar falling down, falling dead. How does Hero keep doing this? He goes so far down. He loses so much. And then he comes back. Again, he loses a base. He loses his economy. And then he comes back. These Disruptor sniping the Queens are going to be massive here. Actually, they're going to target economy instant. And I think they got a Queen as well. Another Arc, but yeah, there we go. Now the gas is getting spent. We got 5 Archons on the field. This army that Solar has made, I don't know that he can fight anymore. Not with the disruptor here, not with these Archons. GG Hero. So game 1 was cannon rushing that didn't really do anything. Game 2, we saw Hero go for a Blink Stalker timing, and as often happens, like I don't know why, but it feels like 9 times out of 10 we see Blink Stalker timings like this. The Zerg player is just always able to get links into the main of the natural and turn it all in. Maybe it's survivorship bias, I don't know, but I feel like they're just almost always, there's just nothing in the wall. Or the Zealot is not on hold position, so it runs out, and it's just like, geez, that doesn't feel good. I mean, there was a time when we'd see move outs like this, and there would be a pylon in the wall. Granted, those were 2 base timings, but even still. It's not like you need to remove your Zealot from the wall for drones, for probes to move in and out, because they just kind of mineral lock onto mineral lines, and that's fine. But Hero, he is opening Stargate once again. Now, remember, he did open Stargate last game. It was triple Oracle into Blink Stalker. So even if he does open Stargate here, it's not a promise that he is going for Stargate play. And by the way, Hero used to be one of these players that was really known for his Oracle control, much like Classic. Much like, not True, much like Trap. And his use of the Oracles in that last game was chef's kiss, right? Just specifically the stasis traps that were just these incredible force fields that Ravagers could not remove. You just saw Solar trying to take these fights, and he just could not get the proper concaves. And it meant that, honestly, if Solar had not gotten those run-bys, Hero would have won that game pretty handily. The run-bys, of course, kept him in it, allowed him time to buy mutas, which effectively served as more run-bys. And then, well, eventually, you know, Hero did win anyways. Okay, we'll be Void Ray into Oracle this game. So not triple Oracle, not raw triple Oracle. The other interesting thing, though, is we're kind of hitting that third base timing for, you know, Void Ray play, where you get it like 354 minutes. And we do not see a probe out on the map because, folks, we're getting another different build from Hero. He is a man with a plan. At least, he's a man that's not going to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's 2-base carrier on Berlingrad. Now, Berlingrad has a decent amount of dead airspace, so you can look to abuse that, but there's not a lot in the middle of the map, which can often be kind of the valuable position as the Oracle is going to try to dive on it. We'll get 1 drone force troubles, but maybe, no, okay, not 2. Gotta be careful not to lose that. So traditionally, when we've seen this kind of carrier play, this 2-base carrier play, or I guess 2.5 base carrier play. Never mind. I love this so much more. We got Zest's build coming out here. Double Stargate Tempest with a slightly delayed third base. This is the build that just hard counters Queen Walks. Because you get up to, I believe it's 5 or 7 Tempests. And by the way, Tempests build fairly quickly. You get up to 5 or 7 Tempests. The Queens walk, and you just one-shot the Queens. There is no transfuse opportunity. And with the additional range, well, it just becomes a problem. Now, Zerglings are going to try to punch on through here. And yeah, there we go. Warpin says, no, you don't get to do that here. But that's actually big. The Tempest reveal. And now Solar knows what's happening. He knows what the tech choice is. So he should not walk Queens. That is not going to be the play anymore. And, I mean, we see some merges on the map. He may feign... Oh, really interesting. Huh. I like this. Yeah, he's going to move out on the right side. Try to force his opponent home. But, I mean, Berlingrad, it's not Curious Minds, but it is a pretty short map. So now the Tempest here, Oracles, everything's zoning. Going to force the army of Solar back home. Now we're going to have to see exactly what he's going to be able to get done with this. Now, he is rushing Tectonic Destabilizers, which really doesn't matter against an army. It does, however, mean that if he's going to be able to break this army down, the bases are going to come under significant threat. So now what are we at? How many Tempests do we have? We're at 4 Tempests. We're 1 or 3. I don't remember whether it's 1 or 3, but we're getting pretty close to the one-shot Queen potential. And there's not going to be a Spire for a while. Spire is only about halfway done. So these Tempests do have some kind of a significant timing for themselves where they're going to be able to enforce their will on the map. Now, oh, Zerglings, that's not a wall. Great. Zerglings will be able to find their way on in once again, man. Solar is just finding every opportunity for this to happen. As probably going to get pulled, just trying to fight things. A couple workers will go down. There's kind of out of range of shield batteries, which is unfortunate, but the Tempests are starting to find their pound of flesh here. Queens are going down. The Spore is just not going to do anything. And these Queens really should not be doing any damage to these Tempests, but of course, Tempest range is long, but not as long, but their vision range is much shorter. But still, gotta warp in something in the wall there here. That's unfortunate. Again, we're seeing this game where Hero kind of has this really cool tempo advantage, and he's just not able to do anything because these run-bys are eviscerating him. 13 probes have gone down. Now he's only on 44 workers once again. Lings are going to find their way on in, and he has bought the time. Solar has absolutely bought the time that he's needed. These Queens have not died yet because Hero is not target firing them down appropriately, and 16 Corruptors are about to hit the field. Now, got to be careful about that base there. That's going to be a little bit complicated. Actually, yeah, there we go. So recall, one Tempest will go down, second one will not. So one Tempest is dead for a bunch of Queens. The base stats have got about halfway down. I feel like if Hero had just been a little bit more on top of it, probably could have gotten that base. But even still, now we see double Void Ray hitting the field. We are getting up to 7 Voids. As another Tempest, I believe, did go down. Yeah, 2 Tempests dead. But the Void Rays are starting to arrive. One has turned on prismatic alignments, but that's fine. Now, of course, you want 5 Tempests. It kills the Queens. It kills the ground rather quickly. This is actually a surprisingly complicated army to micro, because you got to have the Void Rays forward, you got to have the Tempest back, you got to turn prismatic alignment on, but they can't go too far forward because the Queens are there, and it just becomes a little bit problematic. But now Hero, he's doing the same thing to Solar that Solar did to him. So now, Adepts in the main. Rest of the army outside of the third base, but this is not going to be nearly as effective. 2, 3 workers, really, it's not going to be all that much. Maybe in the third base. But this really is not going to accomplish all that much here. And Solar just maintaining his supply. Oh, okay, he's going to get 7 workers. Never mind. I thought Solar was going to be in a better position. But we got +1 Carapace coming on in, which really is just going to keep you safer because of how quickly Void Rays attack. It's always that... I'm actually not totally sure of the calculus, whether you for +1 attack versus +1 armor against Sky Toss in particular. It was always, +1 Carapace because you're against carriers, and then 8 interceptors are attacking really quickly, but they're not doing a lot of damage to armor, so it makes a lot of sense. The wall is just... I really would have expected Hero to just warp in something in the wall at this point. I mean, it's not like he needs the circulation between the two. The probes can always go through. Just leave something in the wall, please. This is the Hero, please. This is the second game in a row. But I mean, this army from Hero, while it's low supply, I mean, it's 8 voids. That is something. It's not at the void rate count it needs to be yet. There are no the upgrades are not quite where it needs to be just yet. But we're approaching something that might be workable. That being said, as this Oracle does go down, as Solar is going to walk Queens, he's going to walk Roaches, he is maxed out. And this is where things start to get really complicated, because, yeah, the Void Rays, they can fight the Corruptors, right? Without reinforcements, but with these Queens on the ground, with Ravagers dropping Biles to force the prismatic alignment to turn off, it's not going to be all that great. I'm kind of impressed, honestly. Hero has been able to keep his prismatic alignment on the entire time, but now they're off, and we're going to see Biles drop down here. Tempest starting to go down. I'm surprised we've seen the Tempest die. Get target fire down here. I would think it'd be the Void Rays. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Solar, he's up 100 supply, and all the nitpicky of, oh, does he target fire Tempest first? Does he target fire Void Rays first? Does not matter. Solar's up 2-1. So I don't think we're going to see that weird cannon rush thing again. I mean, granted, we'd see it forged by now. So that's not what's happening. We're going to have to see what does Hero go for here. So let's see. Game 1, cannon rush didn't work. Game 2, triple Oracle into Blink Stalkers. Played a fantastic game. And it, honestly, well, if he hadn't taken so much damage with the run bys, he would have won that game a lot sooner. Game 3 plays a cool 2.5 base Tempest style. Yes, exactly that, Foshiers. I cast because I love you. Goes for a 2 base Tempest style, 2.5 base Tempest style. And again, probably would have done much better than it did if, because, I mean, he had a timing, Solar had no idea. If not for the fact that run-bys killed 20 workers. And it's like, man, Solar or Hero, keep your wall closed. You probably win that game. And game 2 is probably not nearly as hard for you as it otherwise was. So we're going to have to see whether Hero can keep his door closed, whether he can make something interesting happen, or whether it's going to be yet another EPT career victory for the man that has many. And more EPT coins for a man that does not need them. Okay, so it's not going to be the Blink Stalker idea, I don't think. As Void Ray is first, so it's going to be Void Ray and Oracle, not the triple Oracle idea, most likely. Which means this is going to be much more standard build. Hero, I say that he could go 2-base carrier this time. He could go 2-base whatever, but this is going to be the 350 third base. So Hero, again, this is a much more standard idea. This is the build that has been popular for the last year now. Since Trap introduced it at the start of 2021. Hard to believe it's been that long. But yeah, so we're gonna see a second Stargate probably drop down at 415, give or take. Now the only question is, okay, does he go +1? Does he go +1 air attack? Does he go second Stargate? Second Stargate. And does he go +1 air attack on this? Or there we go, +1 air attack. So now it's really just gonna be a matter of how does Solar look to punish this. Now, against +1 air, normally the Queen Walks of the normal variety, not all that great. +1 air is often finished in time, depending on how quick the +1 attack, the Queen Walk is from the Zerg player. And then you have +1 air Void Rays, you got like 8 of them. And it becomes kind of hard for the, it just doesn't work out all that well. The speed at which the Void Ray kill the Queens means that you're not as effective as you might otherwise wish to be. That being said, Solar kind of proved how this works. You just kind of go Hydras. You do Hydra Bust instead. We're going to have to see whether he does for that. Now, of course, the lair is on the way. The Oracle got to be very careful. Will not go down. And we will see the Stasis Trap get killed off. Okay, so not much value there. Now, Solar does continue to build Queens. He's going up to 7, which is not quite Queen Walk number yet, but it is a number that allows him to Queen Walk should the mood take him. But we have this little hit squad. I believe we saw Hero do this last game as well, where it's just a couple adepts and an Oracle, but looking to dive on in, remove some creep. Of course, it only takes 2 adepts to kill a creep tumor, but 4 is a little bit of overkill. It's fine. He made the units anyways. You might as well use them. And by the way, this has been the double Stargate has been scouted out. Solar is aware of this. Hero's actually pretty heavily supply blocked. He's trying to build a second Void Ray, and he's not able to do so, which is a problem. I mean, that's almost a full pylon build time that he got that supply block. So that's not something you want to see here. As again, the wall is open. This has just been the story of this series in every game. But I mean, game 1 was over because the cannon rush didn't work. Doesn't even count. This has been the story of this series. Hero in every game that he has kind of had a good shot in, he's left the wall open. Zerglings have found their way on in. They've gotten a scout. They've killed off a couple workers, and this was not as bad as some others. This is only 4 probes, not 20. Hero just seems unwilling to put a unit in this wall. And I have no idea why. But anyway, Spire coming down from Solar as he's going to look to play Mutilating into Mutacorruptor. Which is, there we go. Guess what? It's another run by because there's not a unit in the wall. Hero is just not replacing things. He's just relying on a warp-ins, I guess, but every time he warps in, those are warp-ins that are not available abroad. Those are units that he maybe doesn't want. I mean, they're at depths you're warping in. 8 war workers do go down here. You're taking your mind off the fact that there are Void Rays on the map. It's just not working. Anyway, 12 meters are hitting the field. And how many Void Rays do we have? We have 6 Void Rays. So we're going to hit that point where the meters are just going to be able to jump on top of them. Even if they don't have +1, it's fine. And carriers are currently using the production path. Or they're using the Stargate production time, which means that you can't build Phoenix. You can't do anything like that. So the Void Rays are going to show up here. Meters are going to pop at once. It's going to have to be a full recall. We're going to see Void Rays. Yeah, one's going to go down. Second one is going to die here. And the third and fourth are going to take damage. Now the Meters, they run across the map. 4 more on the way. +1 melee is about 2/3 of the way done here. 3/4 of the way done. +1 air on the way as well. These carriers are out, but honestly, these carriers are not nearly reactive enough for what Hero has to do here. In fact, the Meters are just going to knock on top of these Void Rays. Another one will go down. And now you can't fight the carriers over the shield battery. With these Meters, you just don't have enough DPS, and you don't have enough HP. But the Meters are going to do the whole ping pong thing, where you run around, you get a free Phoenix or 2. Not free, I mean, some of these Meters are dying. But you kill workers, it's fine. That being said, Hero has actually not lost that many workers, and he will be able to chase this off for now, which means he will have time to build 3 Phoenix at a time. He already has +1, +2 on the way. So he's not in the worst spot. That being said, this is not just Mutiling. It's Mutiling into Corruptor. It is the Heart of the Swarm style that used to be so popular. And now, because of the work of Solar, of DRG really, and of Raynor, it has begun to be popular once again. Because what it does is it forces the lack of carriers. It forces the Protoss player to kind of not play this style that is just so hard for the Zerg to deal with. As a lot of these Mutas are going to go down really for not a lot of gain. That is like 17 dead Mutas. That is -1700, -1700. Of course, in any sort of like Mutiling-ish style, you're going to get a lot of drones. So Solar here, he's on 92 workers. His economy is booming. But now the Phoenix can start to be aggressive here because they know the Mutas are done. Now we got the army of Hero moving out on the map, and you know, as bad as the supply looks, it's all in economy. What is in that warp prism? I cannot click on it. 2 disruptors. This is a really scary army. So we got disruptors in the warp prism. We got 2 carriers. We got 5 Void Rays, 6 Phoenix. This is a complicated Protoss army. +2 air attack is done in 10 seconds. A gravitic drive is complete, so the Warp Prism is very quick. That might be a little bit of a problem here. But Disruptor shots are going to go off now, trying to knock down these Queens and the Banelings, but instead the Banelings are going to get some really nice connections even still. Actually, wait, no, I'm sorry. Those were Banelings dying, not Banelings getting good connections here. The 4th base is now going to come under threat. The Voiders are trying to do what they can. Disruptors are going to go down. To Phoenix and Void Rays are zoning out the air units in the sky. But now, there we go. Parasitic Bomb is going to rain heavy damage on top of everything that Hero holds dear here. Void Rays, Corruptors moving in, moving out, knocking down the carriers. The Void Rays are low. They're going down. And as cool as this army looked, I mean, it is just getting smashed here. Corruptors, though, they will run out of stuff to do. That is something you got to worry about. So Corruptors don't have much to do here. That being Zergling run by in the main is going to kill the main. These probes are not... Actually, these probes... Yeah, the probes are going to be able to save it, but the Corruptors are going to run across the map, kill that off. The army of Hero is dead. It's gone. It is 12 supply, and that's soon... Yeah, 8 supply. Not many Stalkers left. So we're going to see the Natural actually get bailed on down here. Although with the Stalkers warping in and the cannons here, probably not going... Well, actually, no. It's going to get the base. Yeah, Solar's going to commit to it. He says, okay, well, fine. Your base is dead. I don't care. And unbeknownst to everyone, there we go. GG. There are Ultras on the field.